Hello, my friends, hello, and welcome once again to the adventurous Vaughn Manor, where Roger and I have returned with a video full of excitement. I can't even believe how much excitement is in this video. We've got everything today. We've got my weekend reading report. We've got a couple books I got from a little free library. We've got book mail. We've got videos that we're going to be talking about that are coming out this week. We've got some comic books that have shown up here at the Manor. Oh, the excitement. So much stuff going on here at the Manor. First, I'll talk about the format change that happened recently and how that's going for me. It's going good. It's going great, actually. So my new format, I'm only doing 4 videos a week, and I'm filming them all on the weekends to give me some more time during my very busy week. And that's going really well, actually. I didn't realize how much time I was taking to make videos, and then I watched them over to make sure I didn't say anything extra stupid. I mean, I always say something stupid, but nothing extra stupid. And just, to make sure I didn't say anything that would be offensive to, somebody. And then I have to, make a dopey thumbnail, and it's just the whole thing takes a while. And I didn't realize how much time it was taking during the week, because now I've got time to read and relax and stuff during the week. So that's good. So I'm only making my dopey videos on the weekend. So far, so good. And you know what? There's so much stuff on BookTube now. There's so many booktubers out there who are great. You probably don't even notice that I'm making fewer videos. If I made no more videos, probably nobody would notice. But I'm going to go ahead and make them anyway, because, it's just what I do. So things are going good in the new format as far as I'm concerned. So let's get to the weekend reading report. Weekend reading report. Okay, what did I read this weekend? Or this week? I haven't read anything yet this weekend. This week, though, I did read Thora, Maid of Mars. Back to the Edgar Rice Burroughs deep dive. We are back to Mars, back to his Barsoom series with Thora, Maid of Mars. This was excellent. I had a good time with this. Now, in the 500 book challenge, the challenge where I read 500 books before I will buy any new ones, this is number... What number is this? I'm going to reach 500 one day and not even know it. It's 30. I think it's 36. I think. I'll put the number here because I can't remember, but I think it's 36. Anyway, I finished this book this week. Short little adventure on Barsoom. John Carter is not the hero of this story. The hero of this story is John Carter's son, Carthoris. And Carthoris, it's cool to spend some time with John Carter's son. He's a chip off the old block. And of course, Thora, Maid of Mars, is the woman that Carthoris is in love with. And she goes and gets kidnapped, as tends to happen in these stories. And her kidnapping causes political turmoil throughout Mars, and all of these different Martian cities are about to go to war over this thing. Carthoris has been framed, and it seems like he's the person that's kidnapped her, but actually he's trying to find her and rescue her. It's awesome. It's a very entertaining adventure. I don't think it was as good as the first 3 books in the series, but that's okay. It was still really good. So I really enjoyed this. Had a good time with Thora, Maid of Mars. Thora, Maid of Mars. The book I read this past week for the Edgar Rice Burroughs deep dive. Now, the next couple books in the Edgar Rice Burroughs deep dive, we go back to the inner world of Pellucidar. Next, Edgar Rice Burroughs Pellucidar. This is the sequel to At the Earth's Core. So it's book 2 in the Pellucidar series. This is the next one I'll be reading for the deep dive. I'm looking forward to that because I loved the first book. And if I'm remembering right, this book might even be better, but it's been a long time since I've read that. And then, following that, is a genuine literary masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. It is The Son of Tarzan. There's The Son of Tarzan there. It's The Son of Tarzan. One of the finest books ever written. Now, there are some who will dispute this claim, but masterpiece, man. So This is going to be following up Blouster. Can't wait! The Son of Tarzan. This was a good one, the 4th book in the Tarzan series. So there's that. That's the book I finished. Now, the book I'm reading right now, I am a little over halfway through it. It is this one. It is Stephen King's Different Season. Yes, I finally gotten back to my read every book by Stephen King. And I'm really glad I did, because man, this book is really good. This book is really good. So I read the first two novelettes or novellas or whatever they are. Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption. Now, I'm one of the only people on earth who never watched the movie Shawshank Redemption. I saw it was like a prison movie. I'm not all into prison movies, so I never watched it. And so a lot of this story came as, was new to me. And I loved it. I really liked, this is a good story. Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption. It's excellent. Great start to this book. Then I read Apt Pupil, which is another, they made a movie off that too. I didn't see Apt Pupil either. But the book, I mean, the story, the novelette or novella or whatever it is, was excellent. That was great as well. Really enjoyed that. It wasn't as good as Shawshank Redemption, but it was still pretty darn good and creepy. It was creepy and disturbing. So that was a great time. And now I'm on the third one, The Body, which they made into the movie Stand By Me. The Body's a better title, but Stand By Me, which is a movie I did see, and I remember it being pretty good, although we saw it, Roger and I, we saw it years ago when I was very young. When it came out, basically, I saw that movie. But so far, I'm only just started that one, and that one's pretty good too. So I'm having a great time with this, Stephen King's Different Seasons. I'm on page 295 out of, how many pages are in this book? How many pages are in this book? Let's see. 507. So, rolling right along with that, having a good time with that. So that's my reading report. That's it. That's what I read this week. Oh, except for I am reading a Superman story every day for my Superman challenge. And I am over halfway done with The Man of Steel Volume 2, which is from the John Byrne revamp of Superman back in the 80s. A lot of stories in this book, so even though I read Superman every day, a Superman story every day, I only got that far. But I'm having a good time with it. This had Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes make a guest appearance. Because John Byrne, when he revamped Superman, he got rid of the whole idea that Superman used to be Superboy before he became Superman. Now, Superboy existing is essential to the history of the Legion of Superheroes. So he had to find a way around that, and he did, and it was ridiculous. So it was really stupid, actually, his way around that. But, it was still fun, and yeah. And here you have Superman beating up the Legion of Superheroes on the cover. It was good. It was fun, even though, there was some stupidity involved. So there's that. Okay, now the reading report is done. But other stuff happened this week. We went back to a little free library. This time, we stopped at the one that's near my house that never has anything ever that's any good. But this time, we actually picked up a couple books, Roger and I. We just were strolling along with the dogs, Roger and me. And we stopped at the little free library. And we saw a couple books. Now, beggars can't be choosers, And so I picked out a couple books. Now, one of them is a little, and that's this one. This is Julian Fellowes' Belgravia. By Julian Fellowes of Downton Abbey. Now, I actually do like Downton Abbey in all its melodramatic glory. And it even has a Downton Abbey-esque cover. So I thought, okay, it's free. I'll pick up a book by Julian Fellowes, an historical novel. Belgravia by Julian Fellowes. Sure, I'll pick that up. And when I got home, I looked through it, and I noticed a couple things. Okay, so first of all, this book has an editorial consultant listed on the first page. Editorial consultant, Imogen, I don't know, Edwards Jones. So he has his own editorial consultant for some reason. And he also has his own historical consultant, Lindy Woodhead. So that's not something you usually see, but you know, Julian Fellows, he's the fancy pants maker of Downton Abbey, so I guess he has these people I guess they're his people, you know. And then I was looking through it, and I went to the first page, and this is how it starts off. This book. The past, as we have been told so many times, is a foreign country where things are done differently. This may be true. Indeed, it patently is true when it comes to morals or customs, the role of women, aristocratic government, and a million other elements of our daily lives. But there are similarities too. Ambition, envy, rage, greed, kindness, selfishness, or selflessness, and above all, love, have always been as powerful in motivating choices as they are today. This is a story of people who lived 2 centuries ago, and yet much of what they desired, much of what they resented, and the passions raging in their hearts were only too like the dramas being played out in our own ways, in our own time. So it's like an historical novel for stupid people. So, you know, it's like explaining this stuff to you. You know what? It was different, but they were still people. You know, it's, you know, for those of you who don't understand historical novels, he gave you that. So that was kind of you, Julian Fellows, or the historical consultant. Who knows which one it was. So there's that. I might read that one day. But then there was this other book that caught my eye. Iron Fire by David Ball. An epic novel of love and war. So an epic novel of love and war. And so I said, that's interesting. But what caught my eye was David Ball. I'm like, David Ball, that rings a bell. And then I remembered, I actually have a book by this guy. This is Empires of Sand, David Ball. And actually it says at the bottom of this, author of Empires of Sand. So I have this book, Empires of Sand by David Ball, which I've never read. I don't know if it's any good, but it's another historical novel by David Ball, a fairly lengthy one. But I've never read it. I don't know if it's any good. And so I thought, oh, this looks cool. I picked this up as well. I don't know if it's any good, because I don't know if his other book was any good. But this one looks interesting. So it's another cool historical novel, which I don't know much about. And I know nothing about this writer, David Ball. But he wrote a couple lengthy historical novels, and I'm definitely going to read them one of these days. So that was cool. I finally got something cool from that little free library that usually just sucks. We did get something else exciting this week. So I have a viewer that sent me a box of books. Bob, thanks, Bob. So my friend Bob had some extra Doc Savage novels. He has a whole Doc Savage novel collection, and he had some extras. And he knows I love Doc Savage, so he sent me some Doc Savage books, like a pile of them. That was cool. Let's go through them, shall we? So we've got Pirate of the Pacific, Doc Savage. Now I do have some of these books, but not all of these books. Actually, most of these I don't have. And the ones I did have already, I don't have in this nice condition. Most of these books are in really nice condition. So I've got Pirate of the Pacific, Doc Savage. So there you go. I've got The Monsters, and this is Doc Savage being grabbed by some giant from under the water. This guy, he has some adventures. He has adventures almost as exciting as the adventures Roger and I have. Almost. This happens to us all the time. Yeah, he's getting grabbed by the monster in The Monsters. So there's that. That one's really cool. Then we've got the Land of Terror. Now I do remember that I have this one, but again, this is in nicer condition than the copy I had. So the Land of Terror, where Doc Savage and his torn shirt fight dinosaurs. So that's awesome. We've got Fear K, where he's fighting this guy, Fear K. I think I have a copy of that too, but again, not in that nice shape. Then The Quest of Qui, or Key. He's covered up his ripped up shirt with a nice jacket in this one. So there we go. Then we have The Land of Always Night. It's always night. Here, Doc Savage has his night goggles on because he's in the land of always night. That looks awesome. All these great, fantastic pulp adventures. Then we've got The Fantastic Island. Not Fantasy Island. Not Fantasy Island. It's The Fantastic Island. It's a little different, probably. But there you go. He's fighting giant lizards on The Fantastic Island. Then we've got Murder Melody. Murder Melody. More fun with Doc Savage. Then we've got The Spook Legion. It's The Spook Legion. Again, a book I have, but this is in really nice shape, and I love that cover. That's pretty cool. I love the covers on this old paperback series. Then we've got The Red Skull. I don't think this is Captain America's The Red Skull, but The Red Skull, I've got The Red Skull. Thanks for sending that, Bob. Then we've got The Secret in the Sky. There are some sort of meteors or ships or something. Anyway, it's a secret. It's The Secret in the Sky. Then we've got The Other World. It's The Other World. The Other World, where he's fighting, what are those, giant weasels or something? You know, sometimes you just gotta grab your club and fight giant weasels, or whatever those things are. He has a tough life, Doc Savage. Then we've got The Terror in the Navy. It's The Terror in the Navy. He's fighting the Terror in the Navy. Beats giant weasels, I guess. Then we've got The World's Fair Goblin. World's Fair Goblin. Yeah, and you've got Doc Savage, same old torn shirt. I hope he washes that thing. Then we've got The Sea Magician. It's The Sea Magician. He sent me a bunch of these. The Sea Magician. There we go. Then we've got The Metal Master. It's The Metal Master. That's about as pulpy a title as you can get. The Metal Master. Doc Savage will take care of him. Then we've got The Seven I Got Devils. The Seven I Got Devils. Doc Savage there. Then we've got The Derrick Devil. He can't get away from devils, poor Doc Savage. This is The Derrick Devil. That's the Derrick Devil in the background, I guess. Looks just like a derrick. Then we've got The Mountain Monster. The Mountain Monster, where Doc Savage goes to the Forgotten Planet, I think, and fights giant spiders. So that's awesome. Great old series, and we've got Doc Savage and his crew on the background there. Awesome. I love these, so I'm very grateful. Thank you so much, Bob, for sending me these books. That's awesome. Awesome stuff. But wait, there's more, because I got some comics this week. So let's talk about the comics I got. So I got a couple Epic collections, because every week it seems like I get an Epic collection or two, because I collect them. And then we've got the first volume in Guardians of the Galaxy. This is Guardians of the Galaxy stories from 1969 to 1977. Now you can see this is not the Guardians of the Galaxy that we are familiar with from the movies. There's no Rocket Raccoon. There's none of those guys in here. This is the old, 1970s Guardians of the Galaxy. So there you go. But it's really cool. It's got some Gene Colan artwork as well as artwork by other folks. It actually looks pretty cool. So I have never in my life read these old Guardians of the Galaxy comics. I've never read any of them. So I'm going to have a good time with this Epic collection. Guardians of the Galaxy. So there's that. This next one is very exciting. Anytime an X-Men Epic collection comes out, it's exciting. I think now I have all the X-Men Epic Collections that have been released so far. So this is X-Men Legacies. X-Men Legacies, this is volume 22 with stories from 1993. And man, these are some pretty 90s stories in this one. I mean, just look at that. Beautiful 90s art. The 90s, man, they were a time. And this is very 90s, and it's got all kinds of great artwork, including John Romita Jr. It's cool. It's cool. So, yeah. X-Men Epic Collection. And then I got an omnibus, and this is Mark Spector Moon Knight Omnibus. This is the part of the video where Steve Donahue, my partner on Epic Comic Book Wednesday, shivers with fear because he thinks that eventually we will have to do a Moon Knight episode of Epic Comic Book Wednesday, and we will have to do that video. Sorry, Steve. Steve is not a fan of Moon Knight. I can't imagine why. Moon Knight's awesome. And this is the longest running Moon Knight series was Mark Spector Moon Knight. It was the third ongoing series from Moon Knight. The second ongoing series lasted, what, 6 issues or something? But this is the third ongoing series. And it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty cool. Again, a lot of these stories I missed when they first came out. I don't know why. But these particular stories, a lot of them I did not read. And then we've got Ghost Rider there. It's going to be fun. So I'm looking forward to reading this, actually. So there's that. So there's all the stuff that came into the manor. So what videos are coming out this week anyway? There's got to be some exciting stuff coming this week. Well, yes, tomorrow we're doing a video about Horror Mayhem. Yes, May is right around the corner, and I'm going to do my Horror Mayhem TBR. A TBR, all the books I'm going to be, well, the books I'm planning on reading in Horror Mayhem. It's going to be mayhem, so who knows how it'll actually shake out, but that's tomorrow's video. Then, on Wednesday, it's going to be Epic Comic Book Wednesday, where this week we're talking about this epic collection. This is The Coming of Galactus, the Fantastic Four, The Coming of Galactus, where we talk about Galactus and the first appearance of Silver Surfer and a bunch of other awesome issues in here. And then I forgot to bring a copy in here of Occult Detective Magazine. On Thursday, we're going to be talking about Occult Detective Magazine. And Occult Detectives. Occult Detectives and Occult Detective Magazine. So we've got, you know, that to talk about, and that's going to be awesome. I've been intending to do that for a while. This week, this upcoming week, is the week where it will happen. Oh, the thrills. Okay, guys, I hope that was fun. I will catch you next time.